Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Allison. And today I have in my hands my colored folder. So, which one are we going to talk about today? But first, I want to say welcome. If you've never been here before, thank you for tuning in. If you have, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and leave me a 5-star review on podcast if you're listening. Okay, now let's get into it because this one is going to be a little deep, I think. The blue folder today, this one is Life's Lessons. I'm going to get a little deep and I'm going to get a little personal today because, oh my gosh, I grapple with this whole culture. We're in such a divisive time, especially if you're here in the US. We are so heavily divided that I almost feel like I'm in prison. You know how when you're in prison, you have to pick a gang in order to be protected, in order to feel safe. You have to pick a gang. So, say you're a white guy, you have to join the neo Nazis, even though you may not be racist, because that's going to protect you and people won't come for you. That's how I'm feeling right now. I know that is a triggering, horrible analogy for me to use, but that's how I feel. I feel like being a Black woman right now in 2026, or a Black person, I would even go as far as to say in general, I feel like you have to, it is really, really important to my culture to back the culture in all aspects, right, wrong, indifferent. You must back the culture, or else you are triggering someone and you are just ostracized and attacked, right? Ooh, I don't want to use that word attacked. That is a bad word to use right now in what's going on. So I guess you're viewed as a sellout. That sounds better, right? Because you 100% must agree, you 100% must back every single thing that your culture stands for right now and is doing right now. Every word that is said online that protects the culture, you must 100% agree, or you're wrong, right? Or you're not Black enough. You don't understand Black. Someone even told me recently in the comments, because I commented on a hairstyle that just happened to be worn by a half Black, I don't know what the girl was, person. She's on a TV show. You put yourself on a reality show. You put yourself out there just like I'm putting myself out here. So if somebody claps back at anything I say, I've got to have the balls to stand on it, right? Or else don't record yourself. Don't go on a public platform if you don't want feedback. And just because I'm the same culture as someone who I disagree with, okay, it doesn't mean I'm a sellout. It just means who I am, Allison, and how I was raised. I wasn't raised with a color. We knew exactly who we were. My mom taught us all, you are Black children, you are Black people. This is how you will move and be treated in the world. But our parents, I guess I should say my mom and my stepdad, because he was present. But my mom was such a strong woman. Sometimes she was just such a big part of the fabric of who I am that usually I just say my mom. But I love my stepdad too. But she didn't divide, neither one of them. They didn't divide us. We were just people who happened to be Black. It wasn't like because you're Black, that we had to lead with that in every aspect of our lives. And being that I grew up here in Arizona, I didn't grow up around a lot of Black people. But my neighborhood was full of Black people and Hispanic people. So I didn't grow up wealthy. I grew up in the hood with good families. It wasn't, people weren't being shot and killed. They weren't bad people, but we grew up in an area that was considered lower income. We didn't know that because we were living our best lives as kids. We had nice cars, we had nice clothes. We lived in a beautiful home. My mom kept it nice. We had all brand new furniture, beddings. I mean, we didn't know, but Yeah, all in all, it wasn't the high-end upper class area by any means. But even in that area, we had I know my neighbor was an older white woman. We had a Hispanic family on our street. We had black families on our street. We had a white couple on our street with a kid. So it was somewhat diverse. Anyway, I don't want to get too far off on a tangent with that, but I just wanted to paint a picture of how I grew up and why my mindset is what it is. I never used race to lead me in any direction, just never have been that person. But also at the same time, I'm not discounting anyone else's experience. If you've had a horrible experience because of your race, I recognize that that shit is real. Okay. That is real. I am not brand new to, at 59 years old, to how Black people are treated in this country, how we're just viewed by the world. You know, I went to Dubai and the little Kenyan girl who was the housekeeper or delivering, no, she wasn't housekeeper, she was delivering my room service. She asked me where I was from. And when I said the US, she goes, "Oh." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, you don't have the accent." And I said, "What is the accent?" I said, "I didn't know US we had an accent." And she goes, "You know, the accent." And I go, and then she goes, and so I go like this. I said, "Oh, you mean where I'm like, girl, and all that?" She goes, "Yeah, that." And so you understand what I'm saying. I'm kind of halfway in between. I don't know all black life. Just period. I just don't know that life. Make me a sellout to some people. And if you look at my podcast, and you look at some of the guests I've had on, yeah, there are more white people than any other culture. You know why? Because when I send out invitations, which I send out equally to all cultures, they respond yes. I get ghosted most of the time by black hairdressers. Okay. So I'm trying, right? But I live on the West Coast. If I lived in the South, I'm sure my views would be completely different. Who knows? So when people come for me in the comments about my blackness, that freaking pisses me off. Okay. And it is not my job to co sign on anything you fucking say. Okay. Just because you're black. We can be wrong. We can be held accountable sometimes. All right. I know when you feel like the world is heavy and everybody's coming for us. Everybody's individual experience, though, within that huge cloud is different. Some people, believe it or not, they've never had a personal experience with racism, whether you like that or not. They just haven't. I can't even tell you how many times I've had an experience with racism. I can't even think of a time. So if I come with an attitude or a perspective, or I move in a way that you don't understand or you don't like, what I'm asking is consider the fact that I'm coming with my own filter of the world. I can only start where I am in the world. I can't start from the place of someone else that I've never met, okay? Just because they're black. Come for me all you want. I'm here for it cuz I stand 10 toes down on how I feel because this is really me. I'm a real person and this is really how I feel. So, I know that was a little heavy. That may be triggering to someone listening like, "Ugh, I a reason for you to move away from me completely because you can't stand my ass." I don't know, girl or guy. I don't know. But based on recent posts and the comments that I've seen, I can feel the temperature a little bit. And this is my podcast, my platform. You could choose to listen to it or not. But those who do, I appreciate you so much. I really do. Your support for the show means the world. All I can bring you is myself, my real self, and that is it. And I will see you guys on the next episode. And I did want to say, I thank all the guests who have come on. hope you're listening to some of these conversations because there's always a nugget or two to learn. And it is a combination of me, guest, industry, pop culture, and everything else in between. All right. Love you guys. Bye.